EST 1.
Hi, I'm Coach Mea, your moderator for this evening's show. Welcome to another episode of Glow 365 TV show. Today's show is a special documentary of Ribbons of Survivors 365 to raise awareness in July about National Grave Disease Awareness Month. Our documentary entitled Living Beyond Graves' Disease of Warriors of Hope and Wellness with our special guest, Raquel Gammon. But first, please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Official KUO Magazine. There you can watch all our current and previous show. And now, allow me to introduce your host for this evening's show, Coach Dawn Hewitt.
A special documentary tonight because I too was diagnosed with Graves' disease in 2017 and can confirm that it's a very painful disease and it's hard for people in your life to understand what it is that you're going through. Let's take a quick break, and when I return, Raquel shares what led up to her being diagnosed with Graves' disease. Back in 60 seconds.
It's your girl, Lady Q, and I would love to invite you to What's in Your Purse Women's Conference. The date is August 12th through the 14th, and we're going to get together and we're going to release the baggage that we have been carrying, and I need you to go register. Register for the conference at www.wip22.eventbrite.com. Grab your mom, your sister, your cousin, your friend, your next door neighbor, your co-worker, and bring them with you August 12th through the 14th for What's in Your Purse Women's Conference. And I cannot wait to see you there.
My special guest today is Raquel Gammon, who was born in Memphis, Tennessee. After college, she worked on a congressional campaign, and the candidate actually won the election. That caused her to move to Washington, D.C., where she worked on Capitol Hill at the age of 26. She works on life-changing experimental pharmaceutical medicines to ensure that they are safe to bring to market. Today, she's an advocate for Graves' disease. Raquel is featured in KUO Magazine's July, August, September 2022 issue in our traditional medicine section. She's also KUO Magazine's 2022 Ribbons of Survivors 365 Graves' Disease Ambassador. Welcome to Glow, Raquel.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's such an honor. First, let me say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this special interview with us tonight. Raquel, what were your initial symptoms that led you to being diagnosed with Graves' disease?
The initial symptom for me was a goiter. So at my neck, I had a protrusion here that my mother actually discovered. And I started going to the doctor to have tests because we thought that, it was my thyroid. And it took a year for it to show up in the blood work. And at that point, when it did show up, I was in Graves' disease.
Right. In like the acute phase.
Yes.
I had a very similar experience with diagnosis, and I can still feel the protrusion of, it's much, much smaller, and, I can breathe okay and stuff now, but I completely empathize with you. And what was your mindset upon hearing those 4 words? You have Graves' disease.
So my mindset was, how do I get rid of it? That's it. The doctor said, you have Graves' disease. And that was my initial thought. Okay, what do we need to do to get rid of it?
Right.
And, I was told that there was something that I would likely be dealing with for the rest of my life. And that, I was really in denial for a period of time because I couldn't understand how I had a disease, I had this mentality about myself where I wasn't going to get a disease, but this was not within my control. And that took a long time for me to really, grasp. It was really a long time for me to actually accept it and to actually realize that, this is going to be a different way of life for you.
Yes. I know for me at first, I would have moments of being okay. And that actually made me think that I was kind of imagining the worst symptoms that I was experiencing on other days before everything just went completely haywire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a life-changing diagnosis. Absolutely. And Raquel, what was your first line of treatment after being diagnosed, and how successful was it?
So my first line of treatment was methimazole tablets, and I was on, I want to say I was taking 10 tablets a day. I can't remember the strength, but it was a ridiculous amount of tablets that I was having to take to try to control my Graves' disease, and it did not work. All of my symptoms continued to progress and become worse. The goiter at my neck continued to enlarge, and it became the size of a baseball. So if I were to turn my head to the side, you would see the protrusion here. And it was a constant choking. It became very difficult for me to eat outside of my home because I knew I was going to be choking. And it wasn't just like, a couple of coughs. It was a serious choke where people are, you've gotten everybody's attention around you and people are trying to help you to make sure you're going to be okay. And then I just started choking without even eating, without drinking, without eating. I would just choke. And that was just the goiter. There were so many other symptoms that I was dealing with. My skin changed. I lost my hair. And my eyes started to protrude a bit. I lost so much weight. It didn't matter how many meals I ate. I was losing weight very rapidly. And heart palpitations. There were just so many symptoms that I was dealing with at once. And it really is overwhelming. It's very difficult to explain to people what you're going through, because on the outside, you look okay. You know, you lost your hair, you lost weight, your eyes are protruding, but you know, you're breathing. You don't look like you're in pain. So people really don't understand what you're going through when you're going through Graves' disease, because as much as it affects your physical state, it also affects your mental state as well. And that's a whole nother situation.
Oh yes, that's one of the very serious complications, because we're told it's mind over matter, and but you know, with Graves' disease, it's literally a physical reaction to the thyroid hormones flooding your body. And how can you tell somebody, like, I can't just change my mind? I feel crazy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I described it, like the best way that I could describe it to someone, for them to understand how I felt, I said, imagine if you were upside down and you had to live your life upside down. Imagine all the complications that would go along with that. Like everything changes. You have to figure out how to live your life upside down and still function in a world where everybody is standing right side up, you know? So yeah, it's
You're giving me
unimaginable.
that is so accurate. What a great explanation to give to I would say a lay person, because this is like a whole entire industry.
Yeah, right.
So you had orbital decompression surgery. Could you explain why you had to have that and what that is?
Yes. So I talked a little bit about the protrusion, the eye protrusion that I had, and that was before the radioactive iodine treatment. So to control the Graves' disease, I had a radioactive iodine treatment instead of removing my thyroid. That was the approach that we took. And the radioactive iodine treatment burned out most of my thyroid function. I still have a little bit of thyroid function, which is great. You know, I am hypothyroid now. The goiter went down. You can't even see it. Sometimes I can feel something in there, but it's nothing compared to the way it was. I still choke from time to time. That happens, but it's so much better than it was. But the radioactive iodine treatment caused an eye disease, thyroid eye disease, which then caused my eyes to protrude even further, to the point that I cannot close my eyes. So there was a point in my life where I was walking around with my eyes outside of my head. And I could not close my eyes, not even to sleep, not even to blink. And I could feel my eyes. You know, when you look right, look left, look up, look down, look all around, you're not supposed to feel that. I felt it. And if I were to cry, I would hold my hand like this, because it felt like my eyeballs were going to fall out of my head. And the reason that I had to have surgery was because I was on my way to blindness, because of the swollen tissue behind my eyes that was causing the protrusion. If that continued, I would end up blind. And so I had the orbital decompression surgery, which they remove the swollen tissue from behind your eyes so that your eyes can fall back into your head as normal. I had that surgery, but there was another surgery that was required because it had been so long. It had been over a year that my eyes were outside of my head. So my eyelids had retracted. Okay. And so I had to wait 6 months after that surgery and have eyelid retraction surgery, where they go in and they do a slit across your eyelid all the way so that your eyes will fall over and cover your eyes so you can shut your eyes. So that was the second surgery.
Wow. It looks like it went really well. You have the most beautiful eyes.
Oh, thank you so much. That I really appreciate you saying that. I still see the differences every day, but I'm so grateful. It took a really, really long time for my eyes to for the swelling to go down and for the eyes to really fall into place. It took years. It took years. And so I'm very grateful today that people can actually look at me and not jump. You know, that was part of the trauma that I experienced because I still had to work. I still had to live my life, and my eyes are outside of my head. I know this when I leave home. Like, I already know. And so seeing people react to me, it was traumatic. It was just traumatic for me to experience. You know, it was in addition to the trauma that I was already living. And it really caused me to retreat and go into hiding, and it caused, clinical depression for me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's very emotional to hear what you went through, and you are such a warrior. I thank God for your life. This is a very, very profound thing to go through, especially as a result of the surgery that helped with the goiter.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's take a quick break. And when we return, Raquel shares her journey to physical and emotional wellness. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
The Jamaican American Association of Central Florida proudly presents Jamaica's 60th Independent Scholarship and Debutantes Award Gala on August 6, 2022 at the Rosen Plaza Hotel from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Guest speaker will be Dr. Dwayne Dice, CEO of Education Solution International. Co-MCs are Mr. Lewis Witter and Miss Adriana Clark of Caribbean Rhythms Radio. Dinner served at 7:30 p.m., music and dancing by DJ Charlie Brown and Caribbean Groove Band. Tickets are $75 by calling 407-467-1741 or 321-439-2130 and also 407-292-3719. Join us for a night of excellence and elegance as we celebrate Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee. For more information, please visit online at www.jaaocf.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Before our break, Raquel shared how she was diagnosed with Graves' disease and thyroid eye disease and her emotional, mental, and spiritual health. Raquel, you experienced depression and anxiety as a combination of the trauma of Graves and the loss of your mother. Did that lead you to having thoughts of suicide? And if so, how did you overcome them to stay positive?
Yes. I did contemplate suicide on a number of occasions because it was not getting better. It was only getting worse, in my opinion. And for the longest time, I felt like I was on this descent. I just thought maybe I should just end it to make it quicker, because clearly I am dying. So maybe I should just killed myself. And so, you know, I never really thought about a plan. The only plan that I could figure out was just drive my car, you know, and just in the middle of traffic and just get hit and die, or walk in the middle of traffic. So those were the thoughts that I had. But I was raised in faith, and I've always been a faithful person. And there was never a moment where I had the thought and would proceed to act on it, because there was always something in my head saying, that's not the solution. That is not the solution. And one thing that I held on to, and, you know, always told myself, even when I would wake up and look in the mirror and see this creature, because that's what I was looking at, this creature, I would say, God has not forsaken me. God has not forsaken me. And I could not tell you then what was going to come to pass, but I knew that God had not forsaken me. Okay. And I used to talk to my sister all the time, and I'd say, I don't even know what all of this is. Like, what is this? God has not forsaken me. God has not forsaken me. And, you know, that's a message that I will forever carry with me, because I could have ended my life and I would not have been able to experience God's magnificent grace if I had done that. And, you know, it really is a glorification to God for me to be here, be present, well-minded, able-bodied. Nobody could look at me and tell that I've gone through what I've gone through. That's a testament to God. And everybody needs to know that, you know, there is a way out. God has not forsaken you, whatever you're going through. And so I'm so happy that I did not follow through on any of those plans, but those thoughts entered my mind and I contemplated it for many years.
I can understand completely. You know, sometimes it's so easy for your mind to go to the place of, well, why would she think that? That's, you know, that's a selfish thought or whatever. But it's not. When your whole entire life is pain,
Yeah.
it's hard to think about tomorrow. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Going through the same thing, or even possibly worse. So
yeah, I cannot tell you how many times I woke up and I was like, I hope I don't cry. I'll try not to cry. I cannot tell you how many times I woke up and I went to the mirror and I was like, maybe it was a dream. Like, maybe I dreamed it. And it was not a dream. It was for real. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. Yeah. Nobody should have to be surprised by their appearance every single day.
Yeah.
You know, it's the most terrible surprise party ever.
Ever. Over and over and over again.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's very, very emotional. I'm trying to hold it together too, because but this is what I will say. You are an inspiration to many. I mean, I love what you do on social media, and you know, you are proof that there is there's life after these devastating experiences.
Absolutely. It takes like so much for me to even to even talk on social media, let alone create videos. But I feel like it's my responsibility, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. And that's the least I could do, is try to hold people's hand if they're going through this journey. They may be going through Graves' disease. They may be going through something else that is causing them to pause and consider taking their life, or, taking them down a downstream, and they can't see, their way out. I feel like that is my purpose. I don't take it for granted, that I am well, I am living well. I don't take it for granted. And, I feel like that is why my life was saved. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm well. It is to provide support. It is to, to lead people to God's grace and to let them know that, they can overcome. And so that is what I will continue to do. I'm going to try to speak a little bit more, because I always feel like I've not done enough. And so I'm working on doing more.
Well, there's always more to do, but that doesn't mean you haven't done enough. You're a force of nature. And I just love the fact that, we connected on Instagram and, look at the collaboration.
Yeah, it's great.
Along with Mea, like this is going to help people. I absolutely believe that. Sorry, I'm trying to hold myself together.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. These are important tears. So, but I did want to take this opportunity to ask, with the loss of with your mother, actually before her passing, her condition made you guys take part in clinical trials for her. Can you talk about that and how it led to your current career?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom had cancer. She was terminally ill, and I left DC and came to Nashville, Tennessee to be close to her. I was also very sick, and we had a couple of years together taking care of each other and going to each other's doctor's visits and stuff. And she had the opportunity to participate in a clinical trial to test a new chemotherapy drug. And it gave us so much hope for her life extension, or, a better quality of life for her. And I remember the presentation and them telling us about the drug, and I thought, wow, like that's amazing work. If I could do that work, like, I think that my heart would be in it and it would be so fulfilling. That is like work worthwhile. And so my mom did participate in the clinical trial, and I do believe that she experienced an enhancement to her life, an extension to her life. She lived well. And when my mother went down, it was quick. She did not suffer. She just went down and passed. And she passed away, and I found myself in serious clinical depression. And that is when the thoughts of suicide really were very strong in my mind. Things were not getting better. They seemed to be getting worse. And I was beyond the surgeries. And, I thought that, things would be so much better, and they weren't. And a lot of it had to do with my mental. That's when the mental stuff started. And, I had to go within. Here I am hiding from the world because of the trauma. Nothing was right yet. I had surgery, but I was still looking at this creature. It was not me. And I had to really dig deep and find out what was going to make me happy. And what I knew for sure was work worthwhile. If I could get into clinical research, that would, almost be a tribute to my mom. And it would be amazing work that I could do on a daily basis. And so I pursued clinical research, and that required that I quit my job. And I had an MBA at the time. I quit my job, sold my house, and went back to school to take prerequisites for pharmacy school, and worked for $9 an hour as a pharmacy technician, all from the heart. I was living from my heart at that point. It didn't matter. Nothing else mattered. I got up, I went to school, I went to work, and it's like 16-hour days. It was crazy. And I did it. I did that for 5 years. I worked 7 days a week for 5 years, sick. Mm-hmm. And then I got an opportunity in clinical research, right? I did not have to go to pharmacy school. My work in pharmacy did help me. Me taking these prerequisites, I realized by the time I got into clinical research, I didn't have to do that. But I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to get into the clinical research industry. And I honestly feel like God picked me up and put me there. He saw my heart and how much I was working toward it, and boom. And that was a point where I actually looked up and realized how God had carried me, because I was not well. I was not well. I suffered through to get that done, and God saw me through that. It's absolutely amazing. The work that I do is absolutely amazing. The job that I was pursuing, I actually managed people in that role. And I never worked in that role one day.
Wow.
Absolutely. I honestly I could not have planned the logistics. I could not have planned it to work out this way, because I had my eye on a whole nother position. God saw different and promoted me and pushed me in this industry. And it is one of the joys of my life.
That is fabulous to be in the throes of Graves' disease, and yet to pour yourself into this work that could help other people improve their lives. It is amazing, and well done to you for holding.
It was my lifeline. It was absolutely my lifeline. Because nothing else was working. Like the work that I was doing prior was hospital administration work, and it, our objective was to keep people in hospital beds and keep making money. The hospital had to make money, and I couldn't do that. I just could not. My heart wouldn't allow that work to continue. And so here I am today, loving every day of work that I do, and my heart is leading the way.
It's beautiful. You light up when you talk about this, and it's wow. That's absolutely wonderful. So my next question is, so in the article, that we wrote about you, in the current issue of KUO magazine, you spoke about your journey to physical and emotional wellness. Can you share some of the details?
Yes, I can. So to physical and emotional wellness, for me, was acknowledging that God's grace is sufficient. And, you know, I was really in a place of being very grateful when I realized that God had carried me for a period of time and realizing where I was. Now, I didn't look like this. I still was very sick. You could see sickness all over me. God carried me to that place. And here I am working in clinical research, looking back on my life and everything that has happened. It was a moment of gratefulness that I will never forget. And I realized in that moment that no one gets perfect, right? No one gets a perfect life. No one does. But in that moment, I felt pretty darn perfect. I was not healed. Like, I was not well. I was still going through, but I felt like my life was pretty perfect because of what I had seen happen in my life. And at that point, I accepted where I was. I could have lived in that state forever and been totally happy. And that mentality changed my life. I mean, honestly, I cannot say it a different way. I had a communication with God. I was very grateful. Thank you, God. Listen, what can I do? Like, what can I do? This is me talking to God. And shortly thereafter, you know, it was like maybe a week, a month, 2 weeks or so. I woke up in the middle of the night. It's like 3:00 in the morning. I sat up in my bed and there was this image of this product. It was like a hair protection cap with a hair. It really kind of puts you in the mind of a bonnet, because I was always in my bonnet. Hot mess, always in my bonnet. But it had hair. It was like a tool that a woman could use when she has lost her hair, or even if she's protecting her hair. It was beautiful, and it spoke to me. It spoke to me. The life that idea gave me. It's putting my hands together, trying to figure out this product, like the materials that are required, the dimensions, how to sew. I had to teach myself how to sew. Still can't sew very well. Going through those things, moving toward the creation of that product, my body started to heal. My mind started to look up to positive ideas about my life and my future. And that's when I realized that our mental state is so much a part of our wellness. And that's when I realized that it's so important for us to be positive. And it's so important for us to manage our mental health well, because that has a tremendous effect on our physical health. And so for me, it was a mind shift. The mind shift for me was getting rid of the negative thoughts. Because, once you're going down a path, and everything is so negative and it continues on and on and on, then you expect it, right? You start to expect negative. All you get is negative. You expect negative. So that had to change for me. And it was the idea of the One It come into life that helped me change my perspective about who I am, whose I am, how I'm going to live, and how I am going to live out this journey with Graves' disease, and it doesn't have to be negative, and it doesn't have to be the end of your living. And that is also part of my message, because it was almost like a 360. You know, it was just really, really life changing. And, you know, it's very difficult to change your mind about yourself when you're going through. But if you put some practices into place, it can happen. And it can lead to physical healing. That I know for sure.
Absolutely true. Very impressive. And the product is so pretty. I've seen it on your social media.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's still very much in development. Like, I'm redoing the website, and I have some new designs to put forward. But and honestly, this last year of my life, I had a period of time where I had to take a mental break from posting on social media and the work on the product, because Graves' disease is tough, you know? And as happy as I am, and as much as I celebrate grace in my life, I am so grateful. There is still so much work that I have to do for my mental health. And sometimes that means taking a break for everything and regrouping. And so that's really what I've been doing for really the last year, trying to manage work and have a good work-life balance. I am in a new role with my job, and it took some time for me to adjust and really get that balance back in my life. I do have it now, and I'm going to, you know, continue to pursue my vision for the One Up. But yeah, I had to take some time away and just kind of focus on getting my life together again. And you know what? I might have to do it again. I think that it's important to like reassess your life, make sure that you're moving forward in the direction that you want to go. And I have realized that some of the things that I've wanted to do, I've not been doing, and it's because of my mindset. And so there's always, recalibration, tweaking that needs to be done, because we're human. We live in this human world around other humans that have, their own mentalities that we have to deal with. And sometimes that can affect you and your mental state. And I have definitely experienced that.
Yeah. Amazing. So inspiring. And it's good to know yourself so that you know when that break is needed, because that's definitely part of self-care.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So we know that no matter what illness someone has, or even someone just maintaining a healthy lifestyle, that it's important to eat a nutritious diet. Did you have to change your diet, and what are the do's and don'ts of your nutrition regimen?
So I really did not change my diet until probably just the last year. And, I don't know why I didn't change it. Probably just being stubborn. Like, I'm going to take my food away too. I love food so much. But I have realized that, the intestinal issues that are caused by Graves' disease, for me personally, plant-based diet is best for me. I am not vegan, but I do lean more toward plant-based eating. And that for me means 5 days of plant-based eating. So I try to do it Monday through Friday, try to prepare a meal for the week that I can, carry through the week, and then enjoy meat on the weekends, get the best quality meat possible. Other than that, drinking a lot of water, and I've just started a regimen of Immunical, which is a supplement for glutathione, and it is beneficial in removing metals and toxins from your body. One of the things that is concerning to me is, I do take synthetic drugs every day, and I will for the rest of my life, because I don't have a full functioning thyroid. And so to mitigate that, the Immunical should be sufficient to remove the toxins from my body and keep me healthy. So it's just, being mindful, of what, I'm putting in my body every day.
Good job. Good job for that. That's wonderful. So let's take a quick break. And when we return, Raquel shares how she keeps her spiritual wellness intact.
It's your girl, Lady Q, and I would love to invite you to What's in Your Purse Women's Conference. The date is August 12th through the 14th, and we're going to get together and we're going to release the baggage that we have been carrying, and I need you to go register. Register for the conference at www.wip22.eventbrite.com. Grab your mom, your sister, your cousin, your friend, your next door neighbor, your co-worker, and bring them with you August 12th through the 14th for What's in Your Purse Women's Conference. And I cannot wait to see you there.
Welcome back. For those who have just tuned in, our special guest is Raquel Gammon in Living Beyond Graves' Disease. If you missed the beginning, you can always rewatch it on YouTube at Official KUO Magazine and all the previous shows as well. Raquel, in all that you've endured because Graves' disease is a chronic illness without a known cure, how are you keeping your spiritual wellness and faith?
So, as I mentioned, I was raised in faith. So, God is the source for me. And I have a personal relationship. I want to just go back a little bit before I get into this, because before my mom passed away, I had a communication with her. And I told her that I was really down and I could pick myself up. Like I was accustomed to, going through and then just, being able to lift my spirits, just raise that vibration and just snap out of it. And I was always able to do that and help people, girl, you're going to be okay. Just lift people's moods. So I was not able to get out of the funk, get out of the rut, bring myself up. And my mother said, you don't have faith in God. She said, you don't have faith. And this is someone who is terminally ill talking to me. And, it really kind of threw me off. And I was kind of upset because I was like, what do you mean? I have faith. And she said, well, you don't act like it. So she was saying to me that I was not displaying faith by being so down. You have faith in God. You should know that this is temporary. So that caused me to really do some searching and really look at my life. And even though I was going through, I knew how blessed I was. I was blessed to have my mom with me for 2 years while she was going through. I was blessed that she wasn't on a deathbed for those 2 years, that we were able to go walking for miles every morning. And I was able to cook for her. She ate well. We watched shows together. We went to church together. There was so much that we were able to experience together, even though she was terminally ill. So that kind of changed my perspective. You always need to be looking at what you have and not what you don't have. And so that helped me. And that has been my approach in my life since. I always look at what I have and not what I don't have. Not that I don't have moments, because I do. I am human. I do have moments where, it's difficult to raise my vibration. And what I do now is what has been a big part of my healing and my daily rejuvenation is music. You've probably seen some of my videos on Instagram where I'm either dancing or listening to an inspirational song. I do that often, and it really, really helps me to stay focused on, all the wonderful things that I have to be grateful for, as opposed to focusing on negative things. And I do practice affirmations, positive affirmations, and I have realized the effect of making sure that I go to bed, at a higher vibration. And that simply means, I either listen to some inspirational music before I go to bed, I pray, I may listen to some inspirational speaking, read the Bible, something that is going to give you strength and positive energy before you rest at night. And you wake up in that same position. And that has been very helpful. If I could direct anybody that is feeling down or finds itself waking up feeling like they're in a fight, because that's the way I used to wake up, in that position, like, okay, this is going to be another day. I got to fight. And so that has been very helpful for me, for my faith, and just staying plugged into my source, which is God. I have a personal relationship with God, and I know that I need God in my life every day, every hour, every minute, every second of the day. And I rely on that. And I've been blessed by that.
Beautiful. That is so wonderful. Thank you for those words. And as we wrap up, I would ask this of you: what words of encouragement would you share with someone who is newly diagnosed with Graves' disease?
I would say to someone who is newly diagnosed with Graves' disease that this is not the end. This is, I honestly feel like any challenges that you experienced in your life are meant to build you up, build that character in you. And if you can look at it as a challenge that you are going to overcome from the beginning, that would probably prevent a lot of the negative effects of the disease. I believe that it's more mental than it is physical. And if you can go into it knowing without a doubt that you're going to make it to the other side and you are going to be well, then that's half the battle. And, follow the regimen that is provided to you by, your healthcare provider, be compliant and trust that you will be well.
This is so true. And Raquel, we want to thank you so much for being on our show tonight, our show Living Beyond Graves' Disease. And how can our viewers follow you or get in touch with you?
You can follow me at Grace from Grace on Instagram, at Grace from Grace. That's me. Grace
from Grace on Instagram.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm just going to wrap up with a few words about this topic that we have been talking about today. Again, thank you to Raquel Gammon for being brave enough to share her Graves' disease journey with our viewers. As I alluded to earlier, this topic is very near and dear to my heart after being diagnosed myself in 2017 and then learning that I've had this condition since childhood. It answers so many questions. The thyroid conditions, the thyroid controls many body symptoms such as metabolism, temperature, heart, muscle, digestion, brain function, emotions, and nervous system. If your thyroid malfunctions, chances are you will suddenly have many symptoms that don't seem to go together at all, making it difficult to be diagnosed properly and easy to be misdiagnosed. As Raquel spoke about, Graves' disease changes your appearance and ability to cope in the most surprising ways, which makes it difficult for others in your life to understand what you're experiencing. And that in itself can be devastating. Bringing awareness to Graves' disease can save lives, not only by encouraging early detection, proper nutrition, and but also it can lower the risk of suicide by educating the family and loved ones of people who are suffering from this illness. And I would like to thank my co-host, Coach Mea Allman, our executive producer, and our special guest, Raquel Gammon. And to you, the viewers, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Coach Dawn, and we've been coming to you from Orlando, Florida. And thank you all for watching. Until next time, continue to find your glow with the mind, body, and soul as a warrior of hope and wellness.
The Jamaican American Association of Central Florida proudly presents Jamaica's 60th Independent Scholarship and Debutantes Award Gala on August 6, 2022 at the Rosen Plaza Hotel from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Guest speaker will be Dr. Dwayne Dice, CEO of Education Solution International. Co-MCs are Mr. Lewis Witter and Miss Adriana Clark of Caribbean Rhythms Radio. Dinner served at 7:30 p.m., music and dancing by DJ Charlie Brown and Caribbean Groove Band. Tickets are $75 by calling 407-467-1741 or 321-439-2130 and also 407-292-3719. Join us for a night of excellence and elegance as we celebrate Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee. For more information, please visit online at www.jaaocf.com. Hey, it's your girl Coach Mea, inviting you to check out the next episode of Glow 365 TV on Tuesday, August 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daytime. We have our very own Lady Q, who gives us some insights on her upcoming event, What's in Your Purse, streaming live on YouTube at Official KUO Magazine. There you can watch all our current and previous shows. Also, don't forget to check out the current issue of KUO Magazine. Featuring on the front cover is Dr. Todd Hall, who shares being a pastor, overcoming life's challenges, and so much more. Go online now at KUOmagazine.com and tell a friend.